Okay, hello 6A. Just going into data and statistics is what we're going to be looking at over the next few weeks. Also reading times or timetables. So we're just going to go through a couple of things today. When you sign into Mathletics, you'll see these topics. You can find that in Learn. So Learn will have all these topics here. When I say topics, it's a little bit hard for you to read because it's not so resolution of the display's computer is not so brilliant for the actual camera. So on here we've got review, whole number and place value, multiple factors and primes, positive and negative numbers, operations, estimating calculations, fractions, there's all different things down here. So when I say topics, those would be what I'm referring to. For this particular one, data, if I go right down to the bottom, if I click on data, it'll open up some activities underneath that title. So data, the first one you'll always find is, are you ready? That is a pre-test. It's what you know, okay, and what you don't know. So that one there is probably just do it once. Just gives Mr. Blair an idea of what you do know and what you don't know. If you get everything correct in that, you probably should have a good understanding of these topics underneath. So the first one here, I've got column graphs, reading from a column graph, line graphs, interpretation, interpreting tables, and then there's a test. Now if you're finding a couple of these a little bit tricky, just go further down and you'll find there's something easier. I've got picture graphs, making picture graphs with scale and tallies. So tallies are where you've got the 1, 2, 3, 4, and the fifth goes across 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So this one, I'm just going to have a quick glance at column graphs. And I can assign this to you, or you can choose to do this yourself. What Mr. Blair appreciates is people going in, having a go. We're trying to score a percentage of higher than 85%, 85% or higher. So if you do this task, I think you'll find there's 10 questions. You do your 10 questions, and if you got 100%, you should be pretty good at understanding these and reading column graphs. If you happen to get perhaps 40% or 50%, it will come up somewhere up here, it will say, try again. So I would suggest try again. Mr. Blair can see how many times you've attempted to improve your score. If you get 100, you have the choice of doing it again, in which case you'll also get another 100 points. You earn up to 300 points per task, 300 points. So if you want to get lots of points, you could do this 3 times if you get 100% each time. But I really look for those people who are getting 50, 60%. Do they go back and retry and improve their score? Or do they say, that's enough, I'm happy with 50%, it's okay. No, go try and get 100%, try and get at least 85%. If you're getting 10% or 20%, either you're clicking anything and you're just trying to get rid of the task, or it is a little bit tricky, in which case Mr. Blair will then look at this and think, okay, I will help that person, or there may be a group of you, so I use this to help me. So let's look at this one here. How many pets does Martin have? If I'm looking at this graph here, these column graphs, well, most graphs, in fact all graphs, should have a title. What is this graph about? We have what is known as, we have the y-axis. Y-axis goes up towards the sky as an SKY, sky. So you can think of the y-axis getting up towards the sky. X-axis is this information down here. The x-axis, like an X, it's like a cross. So you think of the x-axis goes across. So an x-axis this way, y towards the sky. They each tell us some information. The x-axis tells us the number of pets. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, they're going up in ones. Or a fancy word is increments. Increments is how many they're going up in. The x-axis tells us who these people are. Okay, so that we have the names. We have Phil, Martin, John, Cameron. question is, how many pets does Martin have? So I find Martin. Clearly, if I go across here, I can see he has 9. I'll enter 9. Next one. Get rid of. Let's got making this on the screen. That. Next one. How many hats does Georgia have? So obviously, here's the title, number of hats. It needs a title. So if you're asked to make a graph, you need a title. You need a label of what these axes are. This one would normally have a title along here. And this one here would have a title. So it's a big title, and you could almost say categories or subtitles. Something here, something here. Labeling these X and Y axes. Number of hats Georgia has, and I can find Georgia here, she has 10. So I put in 10. Oh, not 100. And enter. Pretty simple. How many pencils does Maya have? Maya, now this is going up in increments of what? It's going up in increments of 2. So it's going up like your 2 times that. And I can see Maya, she has, it's not on the line yet, so it must be in between 9. Then it's asking this time, how many computer games do Amir and Amit have? So you have to combine them, you have to add them. And you put that answer in. Amit has 8, and Amir, look up here, 12. So I have to add that together, 12 plus 8 should give me 20. Okay. Now that's that one here. I'm now going to look at, I'm actually go back. I'd complete all those, and hopefully I'll get 10 out of 10. If I didn't, I might retry. I'm just going to show you the activity underneath that particular one. Okay, so I go down to data, click on data. What I'm looking at is interpreting, here we go, reading from a column graph, reading. So I'm going to interpret that column graph. So the next step, reading from a column graph. Who has 3 more board games than Shabu? So here's the title, number of board games. Again, I'd have this labeled down here. What is that information telling me? And this one down here, what is this information telling me? So in this case, number of board games. Who has 3 more than Shabu? First, I need to find Shabu. And Shabu is here. Now look at the key one here, 3. 3 more. Who has 3 more? So straight away, I can get rid of Maya, it's nothing to do, it's not more. And it could be either Abigail or Gina. So first thing I look at Shabu, I go across, I can see 5. So then I think 5 plus 3 more would be 8. Who has 8? Gina has 6. Abigail has 8. So it must be Abigail. So I'll click on Abigail. Yep. Now do 2 more. Who has 8 fewer tennis balls than Human? Human is here, find him. 12. So look at this. Who has 8 fewer? Fewer means less. So I would say 8 away from 12, which would be 4. So look along here, here's 4. Who has that? Must be Oliver. So click on Oliver. Enter. Right, 1 more. Who has 3 board? Sorry, I'll repeat that because that didn't quite make sense. Who has 3 more board games than Peter? So the first person to look for is who? Peter. Okay, so I find Peter. Peter has, going up in increments of 2. It's not at 2, it's not at 0. He's in the middle, he's at 1. So who has 3 more? 1 plus 3 would be 4. I look for 4, and straight away it has to be Abby. So put in Abby. Okay, so that's what you're looking for. Just be aware, look for the person's name, and then are they saying more than or less than, or fewer or greater than? just become familiar with the terminology. The other thing you can do is you also have access to the booklets. Here we go. So these booklets, this was under statistics. So I know I've given you some books in your stationery packs, and we'll work through these together. So here's a bit of an idea of what we're going to be looking through. Some of these things here. Got a pictogram, and pictograms, pictographs have a key. Okay, so this one's saying one smiley face is worth 2. So what would half a smiley face be? It'd be 1. Yeah. So we're going to work through these ones. Here is what is known as a double bar chart or a double bar graph, or this will be a bar and column. Sometimes you might find that you've got a bar graph coming across this way. It's almost tipped on its side. So column and bar graphs are fairly similar. There's a slight difference, but we don't need to worry about it just yet. This is having a two-way table in a sense. Two-way, it's giving us 2 bits of information with this here. I look at the title, it's saying our favourite sport. So favourite sports of these particular people that again asked the survey. See here, it has one of these labels. It's labelled the y-axis. Number of votes. Number of votes. And it's going up in increments of 2. Down here is, you can see the category is sport. Okay, so different types of sport. I can see football. I can see tag rugby. I can see basketball. And I can see other. Now, if I look at here, double bar charts make it easy to compare 2 sets of data, 2 bits of information against the same scale. They must have a key, so then we know what it's all about. So over here I can see a key, and the key, I've got girls, which is a light grey, and the boys, which is more of a darker grey. So in this case, this category, or the key, is based on gender, boys or girls, so that would be gender. Okay? So along here, I now say, looking at which one of these would you say is the most popular sport? I'm just asking this question. Most popular, I can see that the most popular in the boys would be basketball. The most popular in the girls seems to be football. But if I was asked the question, which sport is the most popular, are they asking a boy or girl question, or are they just saying which is the most popular? So you'd have to combine the boys and girls. Two bits of information. The boys here, and the girls, basketball is 2, the boys would be 6, a total of 8 people basketball. This one over here, girls football is 4, boys 2, 6. So I'd say most popular would be basketball. But again, you might get questions where you have to give a reason why you believe that. Okay, so that's something that we're going to look through later on this week. All right, we'll hold it there. Have a look through this, because this is what we're going to be focusing on this week.